Welcome back, Geico Outkick Studios. Hope all of you are having a fantastic Friday. That song you hear in the background, it's Montel Jordan. This is how we do it. We close out the Friday edition of the program during the football weeks, with our new Outkick six-pack of picks. All right, now, I don't want to oversell the amazing level of success that the Outkick six-pack has had, but we went 5-1 2 weeks ago. We went 5-1 the next week, and we went 4-2 this most recent week. You can go check them out. I'll tweet them out, and you can see what the picks are. But I am going to, as we do every single Friday, give them out to you. This is my gift to you, my gift to the people, right? My gift to all of you. We have been on fire. You can write these down. You can watch them on Twitter. You can be on top of them, and we hopefully will continue our hot streak. Dub, hot streak of all hot streaks. It's helped to cover for the fact that the college football picks have just been mediocre.
Absolutely. Thank God for the NFL, because like you said, college has been a struggle, but hopefully the college can pick up this week and the NFL stays hot as well.
All right, so are we ready? Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. This is how we win in the Outkick six-pack of picks. By the way, I had this question the other day. Somebody said, why is the Outkick six-pack not sponsored by a beer or a soft drink company? And it's a fantastic question. To me, the Outkick six-pack being such an incredible success, we should have companies fighting over the ability to put their logo on the Outkick six-pack, right? It should be like an Anchorman-style brawl between Bud Light and Miller Lite and Coors Light over who gets to be the Outkick six-pack, or Coke and Pepsi and Mountain Dew and Sprite and everybody else. All of them should be desperately battling here. But in the meantime, you can go to FanDuel.com/Clay, get signed up, and hopefully make a bundle on these picks. And we began with pick one. No particular order. I don't rank them, but I begin with pick one here, and it is the Raiders, plus 13 points on the road against the Chiefs. Danny G and Roberto are going to be excited over this pick. 13 is just too many, all right? Sometimes you see a line, and you just say to yourself, that is a wildly out of sorts line. And I know how good the Chiefs have been in their conference and in their division. They have been dominant against their division rivals. But here's the deal with the Chiefs. I think this is a vintage sandwich game for the Chiefs. And what I mean by that is the trap game, right? You had the Chiefs playing against the Patriots on what ended up being a Monday Night Football game. And then you have the Bills coming to town, and the Bills may be undefeated. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with that Titans situation. But we do know that the Raiders are a team that the Chiefs have dominated, that they are likely to overlook, and that 13 points to me is way too many in this scenario. The Chiefs this season have shown you that when they feel challenged, they can rise up and play at a really high level, like what we saw happen against the Ravens in one of our earlier Outkick six picks. I love the the Raiders here, going on the road against the Chiefs, getting 13 points. I think this is a single-digit game. I think this number is wildly out of whack. So I am on the Raiders plus the 13 points here. What do you think about that pick, Dub?
I like this pick. And another factor that has held back the Raiders in the last couple of weeks is fumbles.
Yeah.
They've lost 5 fumbles, and that's cost them the last 2 games. Fumbles are basically luck. It's just bad luck on the Raiders' part. I'm not counting on them to turn the ball over. Derek Carr's been really good at controlling the football and not turning the ball over himself through the air. So I agree with you. I think this is a single-digit game. I think it's a close game. And honestly, I think the Raiders could potentially win this game if they play well and Josh Jacobs is running the ball against the Kansas City defense.
All right, so Dub agrees with my first pick in the Outkick six-pack, the Raiders plus 13. Next pick. This is maybe going to be a little bit counterintuitive for people out there. I like the Washington football team plus 7.5 against the Rams. Now, the Rams have had to make a bunch of trips all the way across the country early in this season. They had to play against the Eagles. They had to play against the Bills. And now they're going to have to make a trip to go play against Washington. And this whole Dwayne Haskins situation is strange, that he would go basically from the starter to all of a sudden not even being on the quarterback roster. But I like Kyle Allen as a step up. I think he's a guy who's going to make less mistakes than Dwayne Haskins. Game manager style. I don't think he's a long-range franchise answer for the Redskins, the Washington football team, or anything like that. But I do think that all this travel is going to start to weigh on the shoulders of the Rams. The Rams didn't play well, even though they got the win against the Giants. And so I think that what is likely to happen here is that Washington keeps it close. This feels like a field goal game that the Rams find a way to win. I like the defense. I like what Ron Rivera can do to match up against Jared Goff and Sean McVay and this high-powered Rams offense. So I am rolling with the Washington football team plus 7.5 against the Rams. Your thoughts, Dub?
Now, this is a game I won't personally be betting, but if I did have to pick a side, it would be with Washington because, like you said, the Rams, their travel schedule has been absolutely insane lately, and they did not look very good against the New York Giants last week. So I guess the gun to my head pick would be the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, all right. So this is pretty solid. So we are 2 for 2, Dub and I agreeing. The Raiders plus 13. The Washington football team plus 7.5. Next one. I think this team is underrated. I made some good money on them this past weekend. Indianapolis Colts. Colts have the best defense across all statistical categories in the NFL right now. They are sitting at 3-1. I think a lot of people are surprised to hear that this Colts defense is the best in the NFL. They are protecting Phillip Rivers, something the Chargers could not do, keeping him upright. They're coming off of an easy win and an easy cover against the Bears that was never in doubt. The Cleveland Browns, I know all the Browns fans are ecstatic and they're excited about how their season has been going. I believe that the Colts are going to go on the road against the Browns and handle the Browns, get to 4-1, low-scoring game. I also might sprinkle a little bit of money on the under here, but I like the Indianapolis Colts to win this game with relative ease. They're right now a 1.5-point favorite against the Browns. I think the Colts keep their run going, go on the road at the Browns. Browns are, one of these teams is going to be 4-1. And one of the things you sometimes have to ask yourself is, wait a minute, are the Browns going to be 4-1? The answer is no. The Colts are going to win this game and get to 4-1. What say you, Dub?
I'm going to have to disagree with you here, Clay. I think Cleveland is playing some good football. They're running the ball, and the Colts defense has been impressive so far this season. But they've played Jacksonville, not an incredibly high-powered offense. They've played the Vikings, who we know are struggling mightily right now, and they've played the Jets and the Bears. So although I think they are a good defense, I'm not convinced that they're the greatest defense in the world yet. And Cleveland, the way they played last week, understand that the Cowboys' defense is not even a defense. I like the Browns at home. I think they're going to run the ball. I think Baker Mayfield keeps the mistakes to a minimum, so I'm going to take the Browns at home here.
All right, so first disagreement for those of you in your car, getting rich, writing down the Outkick six-pack, Raiders plus 13, the Washington football team plus 7.5. I am on Indy minus 1.5. That is the official pick. Dub disagrees with it. All right, continuing. Vikings. They got the win on the road against the Texans. Arguably, they should have gotten the win against the Titans. I think they are moving in a very positive direction as a football team. And I think they are going to go on the road against the Seahawks, who have absolutely no defense to speak of at all. And I think the Vikings are going to cover the 7. I also like the over a little bit here, but I like what I am seeing out of Justin Jefferson. He is right now the highest rated wide receiver he was in the NFL for all of last week. He's starting to find his stride. We know Adam Thielen is a playmaker. Dalvin Cook seems to be kind of starting to hit his stride as well. This is a talented offense. Kirk Cousins doesn't need to be incredible. He just needs to get the ball to his playmakers. Seahawks, look, Russell Wilson is your league MVP so far, but they can't stop anybody. One of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in the entirety of the NFL right now. I like the Vikings plus the 7. Wouldn't stun me if they went on the road and won, because remember, the 12th man is not that big of a deal right now with no fans present in Seattle. I like the Vikings plus 7. I think there's good value on them.
I think there's value there too, but I have bet against Russell Wilson far too many times and lost the bet by about 1 point exactly.
Yes.
Now, I don't think 8 points, that's a pretty odd number for this to land on, but I think you kind of mentioned the over, I think, a little bit. Both these defenses are atrocious. Seattle, It's well documented how bad their defense is. Vikings.
It's 57, though, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing 57. That is a high number, but I don't see any way that the Seahawks' offense is going to be stopped. And the way the Vikings played last week, I don't really think their offense is going to be stopped much. But 7 points, that does seem like a lot. So I'm going to give a slight agreement here with the Vikings +7.
All right, Raiders +13, the Washington football team +7.5, Indy -1.5, the Vikings +7. What percentage of our audience do you think gambles, by the way?
That's a great question.
Like in some way, like you can not necessarily betting individual games, but I feel like a lot of people do like a weekly pick'em challenge or their survivor style picking or whatever that would be kind of close to gambling. What do you think? I would bet like a solid third of our audience at least gambles on football.
Well, does fantasy football count as gambling? I mean, because
daily
fantasy is huge, obviously.
Daily fantasy is obviously very popular.
I think with survival counting, I think it's probably closer to 50%.
Yeah,
I think it's growing rapidly as well. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years it's closer to 75%.
I think your average NFL fan, as more and more states officially get legalized gambling, I think there's a huge percentage of people that might not want to have a bookie that would, if they could have an app where they can go in and bet 10, 20, $100, whatever your financial situation is, on the games. I think it's just going to explode in terms of the audience. And by the way, FanDuel.com/Clay, you can go get signed up. We're about to add Tennessee and Michigan to states where sports gambling is legal. You're going to be able potentially before the month is out to bet in both of those states. So if you're listening to me right now in Tennessee or Michigan, FanDuel.com/Clay. All right, the fifth pick here. I know that this is a counterintuitive play. I know some of you are going to say this is crazy, and I'm liking underdogs this week. But I love the progression that I am seeing from Joe Burrow. Went on the road and got the tie against the Eagles. Last week at home, they got the win against the Jags and really took control in the second half. Joe Burrow is going to be, I believe, a very good quarterback in the NFL. And I think it's too early for the Bengals to be a very good football team this year. But I think the Ravens being favored by 13 points over the Bengals is a bad position to be in. And so I am of the opinion here that you have to go with the +13, the Bengals on the road against the Ravens. The Ravens feel like they're sleepwalking a little bit. Lamar Jackson has just been okay relative to the standards that he has previously set. He's not running the football as much. We saw the beatdown that the Ravens took against the Chiefs. I feel like that lingered a little bit into their performance against the Washington football team. I feel like the Bengals are excited. They're a young team. They want to prove that they're not awful. And I think Joe Burrow is getting better week by week. I think the Ravens win, but it's by something around a 7 or 10 point margin as opposed to 2 touchdowns or more. I'm taking the Bengals plus the 13 against the Ravens.
Yeah, full agreement here. And just by the way, if you've just been blindly betting the Bengals this year, you're 3-1 against the spread. Yeah. So this team can cover. 13 is way too many.
All right, so 13 way too many. Dub and I agree on this one. And then the final Outkick 6-pack of picks this weekend for you in the NFL. Again, the Raiders plus 13, the Washington football team plus 7.5, Indy minus 1.5, the Vikings plus 7, the Bengals plus 13. I am got the Battle of Pennsylvania pegged here for the final pick of the Outkick 6-pack. The Eagles are going on the road against the Steelers. Carson Wentz against Ben Roethlisberger, and this number is out to 7. I think that is too many. The Eagles, big win on the road against the 49ers. I don't think they beat the Steelers. I think the Steelers find a way to get the win. But I like the Eagles plus 7 points against Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers for this weekend.
I hate to do it to you and disagree on the last pick, but Pittsburgh is basically coming off a bye due to their canceled game with the Titans. And Pittsburgh, I just love what their defense is doing. I'm not sure how the Eagles score. I think the under is also a great play here.
I agree with you on the under.
Because both defenses are pretty extraordinary, to be honest, and both offenses, especially the Eagles, can sometimes get a little slow out of the gates.
All right, so there are our 6 picks. A lot of agreement, some disagreement between Dub and I, the two biggest gamblers on this program. Raiders plus 13, Washington plus 7.5, Indy minus 1.5, Vikings plus 7, Bengals plus 13, and the Eagles plus 7. That's our Outkick 6-pack of picks. Thank you all for listening all week long. I appreciate you guys. We've had a lot of fun, 15 hours in the books. We'll be back on Monday breaking down everything that happened in Week 5. Hopefully we'll have another winning week for you in the Outkick 6-pack of picks. Appreciate all of you. Go download the podcast. Make sure you don't miss a single moment of the show. And again, we will be talking with you next week. NFL Week 5 underway. Lots of great college football. Can't wait to break it all down for you on Monday. We'll be doing it. Go get rich, kids, with the Outkick 6-pack of picks. This has been another week of Outkick the Coverage on Fox Sports Radio.